individual from the E1, to the E8, to lieutenants and captains. Everybody learns the same thing. Not everybody's in command. And of course, as you go up in rank, you're going to learn more specialized, knowledge in what you're doing in the art of war. But everybody knows how to read a compass. Everyone knows how to fire a weapon. Everyone knows how to give an order. Everybody knows everything. That's how we run HBHS here. We want everybody to understand.
Welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from four-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. As always, I have an incredible guest who is going to drop some knowledge on us, some wisdom. He's decades ahead of me in every single aspect of life, and I'm very excited to get to talk to him, learn from him, and connect with him. Before I introduce him to you, though, I just want to give a big shout out to all of you who have been leaving comments, reviews, and likes on all the major podcasting platforms, Apple, Google, and Spotify. And to those who have been watching on YouTube as well, thank you very much. And I want to ask you for a small favor today. I want to ask you that if you get something out of this interview, if you get some type of value, some type of information, a new piece of insight, a skill, or the inspiration to go out and take action and make some progress towards your goals, I want to ask you to please share this episode with 10 friends. Send it on WhatsApp, send it on social media through message, post the link, share it with 10 people, since this is how we grow. This is how we're able to share our message and motivate, inspire, and bless other men out there to change their lives. And today I have Charles Hernandez, right?
Yes, sir.
Charles Hernandez, aka Uncle Charles. He's a partner and co-CEO of HBHS, which we're going to talk about right now, home buyer home selling, and in San Antonio, Texas. And he's in real estate investing, which is a real estate investment company, which he started from nothing. And this gentleman right here grew up learning the streets in cities he calls Violentville, right? He had a rough upbringing, grew up in very, in the streets, basically. And despite a chaotic upbringing, many mistakes and many regrets, he understood no one was going to come and help him. He learned everything that he didn't want to do, everything that he didn't want to have, and learned from those things and completely reinvented his life. And, now he's running a very successful company. He has a lot going on, and I'm very excited to have you, man. Thank you very much for being here, making some time, and you are welcome, Charles.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. And like I said earlier, I'm very humbled to be able to come on here. And I hope that anything we share today will help somebody move forward in their life. And
that's the goal.
Yeah, hopefully, change them a little bit. I know it took a lot for me to change, a lot of work, many hours, many setbacks. So whatever you got to ask, brother, I'm an open book, and I'll answer truthfully and honestly, and maybe sometimes a little humbly.
Awesome. I like that. My core values, man. My second core value is respect, humility, and wisdom. That's literally all I'm looking for, right? I'm always looking how, like, at any given moment, if I'm going through something rough in my life, and I'm like, okay, how can I do this with respect? How can I do this with humility? And like, the only thing that I ask for every single day to God, or whatever you want to call, right, that thing that seems to be helping me out all of the time, I ask for wisdom. That's it. And that's why I'm here, right? To try and gain some wisdom, to be able to collapse some time, and learn what to do, and most importantly, learn what not to do as well. So the first thing that I ask my guest, Charles, is to walk us through their entrepreneurial journey in 75 seconds or less.
I mean, of course, I can give you a litany of information, but as you shared earlier, I didn't grow up actually on the street. What I mean by the street, I mean, like, I know how the street works, and that's what I meant by that. A lot of people grow up like that because they have no other outlet, and so that's how I grew up. And in a nutshell, at some point, I hit a point where, I wasn't going to go very far anymore. It was only two directions, either, something where I was going to go away for a long time, or maybe not go anywhere. So I had to make a shift. And I decided to go to school. It was very hard to start off with the GED courses and stuff like that. Eventually, I graduated from the University of Texas, and I got into business. I knew nobody was going to hire me because I was already an older Hispanic guy, and I had trouble with the law in the past. So I got into, mortgages, the real estate market, and I ran a few broker shops and a few banking shops, for those of you who are familiar with mortgage bankers. And I did very well. I made a lot of money, I had assets. And in 2008, it all went downhill. You know why? Because back then there wasn't shows like this where people could tune in and even inadvertently be mentored by someone. You may not have a mentor, but you can definitely tune into a show like yours and listen to people and be like, man, I'm getting some knowledge here. There wasn't a lot of that back then. And so, I went through a period there where it was really rough, man. I didn't know what to do. And I was thinking about the street again. And I decided to take my last $700. It was December 2011. And I bought an LLC called Home Buying, Home Selling.
In December 2011?
In December 2011, I decided to buy an LLC, and I called it Home Buying, Home Selling. And so I decided to start a real estate company. I already knew a lot about real estate. And I had invested, and I had helped a lot of investors do investments during the crash and thereof. And from there, I met my partner, Mike, and we started a real estate company. Then we got into flipping. Then we got into these other type of very unique real estate strategies like subject to and creative financing. We started building a portfolio. Then we got into wholesaling, hoteling, and then we built HBHS, which stands for Home Buying, Home Selling. And today, we hold a very respectable portfolio. We turn a lot of contracts every single month. We have guys working for us or working with us. That's our motto: work with us, not for us. We run the largest real estate association in San Antonio. So San Antonio is the seventh largest city in the United States. So I'm very proud of that. We also run a very private, advanced real estate community, where we go in there and we talk to people about how to do advanced real estate strategies, and we stay busy, man. So is it all what people see online? It's everything looks glamorous and stuff. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, 100%. Damn. So, well, let's see. Where should I start, man? It's so exciting. Let's start with school, right? Let's start with school. So you decided to go to school. Man, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that, say like school failed them and like school doesn't work. And I went to college, right? Like I even though I did my high school high, like I literally did my high school high, like wax pens were like, famous, when I was going to high school, like the little wax pens, right? And I like in between every single period, I would literally go to the restroom and get high in order to go to my next period. And then I would go to the restroom during the period, get high, go to my class. And then after class, I would go to the bathroom, get high. And I literally did a high school high. And, even though I did a high school high, man, I got the Obama scholarship where I had to go to college. So, when I graduated my, high school, that's, when the thing that I told you with my daughter happened, which I've told on this show multiple times, but that's when it happened. And I was like, I'm so grateful because like my Obama scholarship covered for an entire year and a half of like money. I didn't have to worry about expenses, gas, clothes, books, nothing. Right. So like it was a fortunate thing that I had that scholarship because it literally paid me for everything. It paid me everything. Right. And but right now, like it's not that I don't like college or I don't like school. I just think that like it's not necessary. Right. Like I think that. So like, for example, my brother is about to go into high school and he basically is wasting his, like he's not learning anything.
I
don't know.
Like my opinion about school is this, I think that today, like at this moment in time, I think the more people, there's a lot more opportunities for individuals to make money and learn information online than there ever was before. Like I went to school because there was none of this stuff. There was no YouTube. There was no, being a creator on IG or podcast. There was none of that stuff. I mean, back then, for me, I chose school because my mind was stuck in a different world.
Yeah.
And for me, school worked because it woke me up to society. It woke me up to become a functional individual. It woke me up to a whole different world. It taught me to be a learned person. And so, did going to school help me? In retrospect, I think it did because of where I came from. Does going to school today or getting a degree today, will it help anyone else? I mean, I don't know. It just depends. Are you a go-getter? Are you the type of person that's going to stay up late at night and study a specific type of field that you want to go into? Do you want to create NFTs? Do you want to do you want to invest in crypto? You want to study the stock market? All that stuff's available to everybody. Do you want to learn how to do real estate? Everything's available online, and you can make connections just like you and I did. We make connections, I think, through Messenger. Everything's available now. And so, do you need school? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I think people should try to get some education, so they can get better at what they want to do. But do you actually need to get a bachelor's degree? I had to do it all over again. I was young like yourself. I probably wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it?
I probably would not do it the second time.
What do you do differently?
Because what I'm trying to get at is, if I was your age right now.
Oh, got it.
If I was your age right now with everything that's available, and I'm a hustler. I wouldn't know what to do. I'm gonna go after that. I'm gonna get good at it, and I'm gonna make it happen. See, anybody can do that now, but back in the day, I mean, what were you gonna do? Where were you gonna get the information from? Nobody was sharing information back then unless you were going to school
for free.
Yeah, for free. None of that shit was out there. I mean, and that's why I say for me it was good because it took me out of the mentality that I had grown up with, and it showed me a different way. Today, I think not so much. I think people have the opportunity to do whatever they want to do.
Nice. So man, you graduated with a bachelor's in business and finance?
Yeah, business and finance with a bachelor's degree. And you want to know something? What's so ironic is that I've never used
anything that you learned.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna say I didn't learn. I did learn some stuff in school. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna discount it that much, but I've never used like one formula that I was taught in finance class. Not one, because the world is different than what they teach you. In school, I mean, unless you're going to be an accountant or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, I get it. But to make money today, I don't think it's very necessary just to go to get a bachelor's degree. In my opinion,
we are in unprecedented times. Like what's happening is revolutionary. I'm literally helping a 14-year-old who's about to enter high school, 14-year-old man. Like this guy invested some money in himself, and I'm helping him with his podcast, right? Because the problem that he wanted to solve is that he doesn't know what he wants, which is a very common problem for like most people in the world. They don't know what they want. So he doesn't know what is it that he wants, who is it that he wants to do, who is it that he wants to become, what is it that he wants to do, or what he wants for his life. So the idea is that he will start a podcast interviewing the most elite professionals in the world, entrepreneurs, Navy SEALs, doctors, lawyers, everything, right? Because he's had an idea. Oh, I want to be an engineer. I want to be this. I want to be that. But he doesn't know. So instead of spending 6 years going to college and then ending up with a career that he finds out didn't want it, he's going to interview, right? Like, oh, I want to be a doctor. All right, let's interview 10 doctors. I want to be a lawyer. Let's interview 10 lawyers. I want to be a entrepreneur. Let's interview 10 entrepreneurs. So he's going to do that, man. And I gave him purpose. Like, it was so fulfilling for me because now his purpose is not only helping himself find out what he wants, but helping thousands and millions of other teenage students from around the world, right? Get clear on who they want to be, what they want to do, and what they want for their life through his podcast.
I mean, I got guys here in my office that are, some of them, are 16 years old, 17 years old, negotiating, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 deals. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but still, they're kids.
That's life changing.
They're negotiating real estate deals that licensed or individuals that are very educated have took a lot of time in school to learn that stuff. They're in here learning that stuff and doing deals and cashing checks, sizable checks. So there's no excuse for anybody today. I mean, me, my gig is real estate, and we do a lot of different type of real estate strategies. And one of the benefits for me, the way I look at things is I don't harbor that information inside of me. I share it. I share it with everybody who comes into my into my sphere of influence. Sometimes my competitors ask me, Charles, why do you share this information with all with whoever is working with you? Aren't you afraid that they're going to leave you? And I said, no, I'm never afraid that they're going to leave us. What I'm afraid is that they stay and we don't teach them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. So you should think like that. You should think like, man, I got a specific set of skills. How do I multiply that? You share it. You share it so those around you can win with you. At some point, they will go win on their own, or they will win with someone else, and that's fine. But when you share information with someone so they can elevate themselves, many times what's going to happen is that you're going to elevate together, and that's how I think.
Yeah, man. It's like the great controversy, right? Do you invest on your team knowing that, with everything that you invest on them and they learn, they might leave with, or do you not invest in your team, but then risk having them stay with you?
Yes, right. It's like in the Army. Both me and my partner were in the Army, man. And the U.S. Army is very unique from any other army in the world. And the reason it's so unique is because every single individual, from the E1, to the E8, to lieutenants and captains, everybody learns the same thing. Not everybody's in command. And of course, as you go up in rank, you're going to learn more specialized, knowledge in what you're doing in the art of war. But everybody knows how to read a compass. Everyone knows how to fire a weapon. Everyone knows how to give an order. Everybody knows everything. That's how we run HBHS here. We want everybody to understand how it all works.
That's cool. I like that, man. I like that. So let's see. You graduated and you started in mortgages. How was that journey? Was the success came fast? Did you start selling? Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, like I said, when I was younger, I mean, I was involved in a lot of stuff, and I had lost a few things several times, to include myself. But when I graduated from school, I knew I wasn't going to go and get a Fortune 500 job. I just knew that wasn't going to happen. And I actually started with a credit restoration company at the time that was, back then the internet was very young, and it was very new, it was chic. And we started with this company that was opening up an office here in San Antonio, and I became one of their top guys. And so part of that was to go meet mortgage companies. And so we'd be in the mortgage offices every single day trying to get people to send clients so they can get credit restoration. And the beauty about this was that particular company was endorsed by World Savings, which at the time was one of the largest banks in the United States. That actually went under during the crash and actually went away overnight. But at the time, it was one of the biggest banks. And so we had a lot of clout. And as I was meeting people in the mortgage industry, I kept asking questions. I started bringing deals. I said, hey, let me help you. And I would stay there. I'd get there early in the morning. I'd stay there real late at night. And I started to learn the systems better than anybody else that was working there. And one day, the broker said, hey, man, can you run the shop for me? I said, hell yeah. And I started running a broker shop. Then I started running another broker shop. Then I ran a banker. And I was overseeing close to 100 loans, close to 100 mortgage loans a month, which is fabulous money. And so that was my thing. I became an expert in doing, I wasn't doing it myself because I couldn't get a license, but I was overseeing individuals who were originating FHA, VA loans, conventional loans, USDA loans. And it was fabulous money until the crash came. The crash came and I mean, like I said, man, I didn't have no mentors. And so we lost everything. I lost everything. And that was a terrible learning experience, because a lot of times people think.
Sorry for the interruption. If you're an aspiring, established coach, course creator, author, and speaker, I want to extend an invitation to check out my free training on the podcast Cloak Track framework by clicking on the link in the description of this podcast. On this training, you're going to learn how combining podcasting with a rare concept that very few people know about called the Cloak Track can help you build a multi-million-dollar network of successful people who can become your clients, put you in front of hundreds of your ideal clients with your message, coaching, courses, and books, help you become a best-selling author, get you booked to speak on stages. We're even making an extra $237,600 in the next 6 months. Click on the link of the description of this podcast to learn about the 4 simple steps to make this work. Step number 1 is alignment. Aligning who you're trying to be, what you're trying to do, your goals and purpose with building your podcast so that podcasting is a vehicle to help you achieve your goals. Step number 2 is leveraging the Cloak Track to find an unlimited supply of your ideal podcast guest. Step number 3 is leveraging the Cloak Track to close an interview with anyone, no matter how rich, famous, or out of your league they may seem. And step number 4 is the content machine, which is the key to tapping into other people's audiences. These are the 4 steps to making the podcast Cloak Track framework work, and I'm not going to hold anything back on this training. So click on the link in the description of this podcast, go and check it out. And once you've done that, if you feel like this would help, we also have a complimentary, free, absolutely free alignment call to get you started and show you exactly how to implement everything. Get access to the training right now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode. Bye-bye.
Especially today, there's a lot of people that I know in my industry that are making a lot of money. And I get it, man. I was there. They're buying all the flashy stuff. I totally get it. But what I tell them is, guys, $3 million, I had $3.2 million. I had 7 houses. And within 2 years, I had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. They're like, how did that happen? I said, because it happened because Uncle Sam got involved. It happened because my field of what I was doing, mortgages got completely destroyed. The government got rid of brokers. They restricted how bankers work. I couldn't make money in that industry anymore. And then I had all these leases, and I had, my credit bill alone was like $60,000 a month, and I had to file bankruptcy. And when you file bankruptcy, the court makes you sell all your assets, because you can't keep them, because you got to pay your creditors. And this money kept coming out, and you're not generating money, but you have high expenses and high debt and liabilities, then you're going to lose. And that's what happened to me. And it was a very bitter, hard lesson to learn in business.
So in 2008, the crash happened.
Mm-hmm.
2008, 9, 10, 11. So it took you 3 years to
the first 2 years were very hard because, in 2000, you don't close shop just because you have, nobody knew there was a major, at least us down here in the regular world, we didn't know that the whole thing was collapsing. It came in stages. We felt the rumble, and then back to work, and then we felt another bump and back to work. And then it completely collapsed, towards the latter part of the year. And so you don't close up shop just because the market's tanking or things are going wrong. You keep pushing. So I'm pushing 2009, pushing 2010, and eventually, man, it just went downhill, and I had to file bankruptcy, and then I had to file bankruptcy again in 2000, in late 2010. I went from a 7 to a 13, so it was really hard. And during that time, I couldn't do what I was doing anymore. So I started facilitating private money. So between private investors, I was really good at numbers. So I was facilitating private money from investors who want to lend money to investors who need money. And at some point, man, I was like, you know what? I need to do something for myself. And I had a really good friend of mine who had become a real estate broker at the time. He used to be a mortgage broker. And I found out that in Texas, if you have an LLC, a real estate broker can sponsor your LLC as your own brokerage. And that's how I started HPHS, or Home Buy Home Selling. I started it as a broker shop, but under a good friend of mine's license, and it's completely legal. And I hired agents, put them to work, and we started making money. And from there, everything else grew on the real estate investing side.
Nice. So it's been 2011. How many years has that been? Like 11 years?
So we actually started at 12. I ordered the LLC the last month of 11. And so we're in 2022. So it's been 10 years, me and my partner, Michael. It's been 10 years that we've been growing this company. And it hasn't been all it hasn't been all gravy, man. It's been ups and downs. But the good thing about it is we're very conservative. I learned my lesson during the 2008 crash. And so we're very careful about what we do. But yeah, it's been about 10 years.
Awesome. So in those 10 years, so I mean, what are some of the, like, yeah, like, I just want to know, right? Like, because right now you're one of the biggest, real estate companies, realty companies in San Antonio, Texas, right? You're the.
Well, we have a broker shop. There's two roads in real estate, in my opinion. There's traditional real estate, like you would think of, like Century 21, Keller Williams. Those are traditional real estate companies, and we do have a traditional broker shop, but it's not a big one. We primarily run it for our investments, and then we run an investment company. So with the investment company, we portfolio, we flip properties, we hotel properties, we do wholesaling. There's a lot of stuff that we do on that side. Now, I wouldn't say that we're the biggest. I think we have some really good footing, and for me, that's good enough. If I can continue to grow every year, that's fine. I never look at someone else's plate. I tell everyone. Sometimes people ask me, Charles, how do you start this? Well, you start by getting active. You start by getting active, and you start by stop looking at other people's plate. If you're watching people on IG, that's good for them. If they have a Lamborghini and they're flying around a plane and that's really what they're doing, fabulous. If they're renting it and trying to let everybody know that's what they're doing, that's okay. What you have to do is wake up and look at yourself in the mirror every single day. As a matter of fact, let me just share something with you. So a lot of times people ask me, how do you get started? This goes for any industry. I tell people, look, do you know anybody that's in the Word? And they say, yeah. I said, if you talk to those people that are in the Word, they know everything about the Word. They know people that are in the Word. They're involved in the Word. And so I tell them, if you want to start in real estate, like that's what I do. If you haven't spoke to somebody about real estate in a day, 2 days, 3 days, if you haven't done something in real estate, if you haven't listened to a podcast about real estate, if you're not involved in real estate, you're not going to learn. It's the same thing like anything else. If you want to learn how to get involved, you have to be involved. That means you got to go to mixers. You got to go to functions. You got to go to meetups. You got to get involved with people that are doing real estate. And I'm just talking about real estate. For example, I'm interested in NFTs. I'm interested in crypto, but I don't have time. So I can't get involved in those communities to really understand how it's working. So that's why I tell people, you want to be successful, you got to get involved. You got to get involved. With Charles, I work. That's okay. Figure it out. Charles, I got to take care of my mom. Okay, that's okay. Figure it out. I got kids. You know what? There's a lot of people that have kids. I'm going to tell you a quick little story. This is the honest truth, man. I ran a 4.0 through my whole, educational, the whole time I was going to school, man. And the last year.
You had a 4.0?
I did a 4.0, man, up until the last year. And my last class was a calculus class. And I didn't like it. I didn't have time. I was busy, man. I was making money, and I went to class like 5 times. And I don't know how I did it. I got a C. And before that, I was trying to get out of the class. I had terminated the class 3 times. And I went to see the dean of the school. She was a little old lady, and she was from Romania. And she was the dean of the College of Business at the school. And I was giving her my sob story, all this stuff I was telling her was going on. And she said, can I tell you a story? And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I came here as an indentured servant. She's like 70 years old, man. She said, for 7 years, I was traded.
Damn.
You can only imagine. I had no education, and I was brought here at 14 years old, and I was traded for 7 years. And after that, another 10 years passed, and I was someone's slave. And after that, when they were done with me, they threw me on the street with 2 kids from fathers that didn't know. But somehow I found a shelter. I had no English. I started taking English class courses. And within a year, I was speaking a good enough English. I started going to school to get my GED. And 5 years later, I graduated my associates. And then 5 years later, I got my bachelor's. And then 10 years later, I got my master's and then my doctorate. And I sit here before you today, the dean of the College of Business. And so if I was able to figure that out with 2 more kids, 4 kids, and get to where I'm at, then I'm sure you can figure out how to pass this class. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Because I think what happens a lot of times, people they put barriers up, man. They make excuses and they're like, well, that's too hard. I don't understand. You can understand. You can understand. What you have to do is you have to sacrifice. You have to put down the Netflix. You have to
Yeah.
turn off that damn TV. You have to stop watching all the damn stories on Instagram and Facebook. And you be the story. Stop watching the story. You be the story. Become part of something that's going to help you grow. And so look, man, I get caught up in watching those TikTok videos myself, but what I tell people, man, is if you're not willing to engage for yourself, no one's coming to help, man.
Hmm.
No one's coming to help. You got to do it yourself. You got to make it happen. And there's people that will help, like me, you and I talking right now. You share with me a little bit about yourself already. I'm sharing with you a little bit, and hopefully people will get benefit, by if they listen to this podcast or any other podcast you've done or anything that I've done. I was just in Phoenix yesterday for the last 3 days at a beautiful event, helping people, talking to people, sharing with people. There's people who are willing to help all over the place. You just got to get involved. You just got to get involved. And once you do, you will see that you will grow and things will change for you.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I love that message. So I'm curious about what you got going on right now. So, you mentioned that a little bit, but maybe you can go deeper.
Yeah. So here, Mike and I we're ready to venture off into different different businesses, different stuff. We're exploring with crypto. My partner Michael's exploring on possibly opening up a nightclub here in San Antonio. He's well connected to a lot of the nightclub owners. So we want to do other stuff, but when it comes to real estate, it's our bread and butter. And our goal here is to create HBHS into, not only a state recognized brand, but possibly a national brand, maybe one that we can sell at one point. We build a portfolio so we can hang on to that. Neither one of us was born with a silver spoon. So you got to go find your silver spoon. You got to go create your silver spoon because nobody's going to give it to you. We don't have inheritance coming. So we knew we had to create that. And so now we have it. And we continue to grow this company. And we continue to grow this brand because at some point, maybe we can actually say, you know what, HBHS is actually worth, a few $1 million. Can I live in a few $1 million? I don't know if it's going to be worth 10. I don't know, maybe be worth 30. Maybe it's worth 1. But at least I built something that I can sell one day. And I'll ask everyone who's listening to this, what are you doing to do something for you? What's your legacy? What are you going to leave behind? Or what are you going to, for God's sake, I tell everybody, when you hit 60, 70, 80 years old, if you get that old, what do you have to fall back on? If you don't have retirement, if you don't have somebody going to will you some money, if you're not going to win the lotto, what do you have? You have to build something, man. We have no choice, especially today.
Yeah, you have to build something. There's actually 5 ways to make money, right? The first one is earning it. But anyone who earns money, right, they inherently trade time for money. And like no matter if you make $1,000 per hour, even in 10 years, you won't become a millionaire, right? If you earn money. Then another way that you can get money is by winning money. But there's I think here in the US is something along the lines of 400 million to 1, the probabilities of winning the lottery, right? So you'll probably not win it, right? Another way to get money is by stealing it. Good luck with that, right? You'll go to jail for the rest of your life if you get caught. Another way to earn money is by inheriting it. There you go. You weren't born with a silver spoon, and it's very rare that someone inherits money and they're born with a silver spoon. I call that the lucky sperm gang, right? Like those people who inherit money. It's not very common. And the only way that is left is building a business, building something, right? And that's probably the best bet because even businesses, that's 5% of businesses, 5% of businesses make it. So out of every 100 businesses, 95 fail. Well, that's a 1 to 20 chance, right? That's a higher chance than 400 to 1 million, right? So it's better, you're 1 to 20 instead of having 1 to 4 million. You have a 1 to 20 chance, and with focus, work ethic, discipline, consistency, you can probably cut that down to make it pretty probable.
Brother, all it takes, man, is someone's will, resolve, and fortitude to make a decision and say, you know what, I got to do this. And it don't matter whether you don't know anything about it. Trust me, start meeting with people that do it, start studying a little bit about it, start getting engaging about it. And I promise you what's going to happen is tomorrow, you're going to know a little bit about it. And the
Yeah.
following day, you're going to know a little bit more.
And
A
you start
month from
stacking
that,
those.
exactly, man. You're going to know a year from now, you're going to be like, man, I understand this thing. Yeah, I pay some, what I'm trying to say is that without starting, you don't get nowhere.
Exactly. So, man, what are some of the things that you got going on right now with real estate? You do events, you have a mastermind, I believe. So tell me about that.
So of course, we do the real estate stuff. We flip properties, we flip contracts, all that good stuff. But we have the largest real estate association in San Antonio, and it's growing. It's last month was our in April was our first year anniversary. Everyone that does have associations said we couldn't do it, that it would never get off the ground, yet we're doing it. We also run a very private real estate advanced community where myself and Michael go in there and we share a lot of these concepts with individuals, and we help them get their deals done and really bring them. Basically, what they're doing is they're crushing their time, like you said earlier. They're collapsing their time to get there faster, and that's called Alliance. We also have a social media presence where we share a lot of information with individuals. And we stay busy, man. We stay busy in the community. We do a few charities, especially during the holidays. We stay busy, traveling and doing speeches or presenting on stages where it helps our brand. But at the same time, we make ourselves available to anybody who wants help. We answer people's questions, so we stay real busy.
Nice. So you main like flip, and then you do wholesaling. Do you do anything else in real estate?
Yeah, of course, we split land. We portfolio a lot of land. We create a lot of notes. We do a lot of credit financing. We do a lot of subject twos. We're probably, I want to say, we're probably one of the top 10 companies in the United States that does subject twos.
Nice.
We have a lot of exit strategies for subject twos. For those of you who don't know what subject two is, the subject two is where you take property over from someone who's losing it or needs to give it up, subject to the financing. And basically, imagine this for a second. Imagine someone who has, let's just say, a $400,000 property here in San Antonio, which is $400,000. You're talking about a nice home here in San Antonio, nice, above average. And they're military. They got to ship out. They got orders. They bought the house 2 years ago. They're competing with the builder down the street. They can't sell the house. They have no equity. What do? They can get foreclosed. That's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt them definitely in the military career. We step in. We take those properties subject to their financing, meaning that their financing, if we agree to it, whatever, for example, it's a VA loan, a good interest rate. They're not really behind, $20,000, $30,000 on their note. We will take that loan, throw it into a trust, have them send the trust over to us. We take possession of the property, and now guess what? I didn't go to the bank. I don't need no credit. Hell, I don't even need a social security number to do that.
Yeah,
now,
that's crazy, man.
If people learn that strategy, how much more powerful would you be? For example, I try to teach a lot of Latinos that come from South America.
And all of this, you teach it in your community, in your real estate community and events?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we teach people not only how to turn it into a business, but we also teach people who are coming from, South America, Central America, in Mexico. Hey, why come over here and become any type of slave?
Dishwasher or whatever.
Yeah, why come over here and become a slave to anyone at a 9, 10, 12% interest rate? Why not learn how to go find your own house without, what did I say? Without a social, without a bank. Yeah, man. I mean, so it's just a lot of these tactics have been around for many, many years, brother. Many years. It's just that a lot of people. I want to say it's more socioeconomic, man. Because I don't want to say it was either Hispanics, African Americans, Caucasians. I don't believe in that. What I believe is this, man. That's information was held by people who understood it for many, many years. And as the world grew up and as the world opens up, that information now is all over the place. So if you don't go out there and get that education, get that experience, get that knowledge, then it's on you. It's because you don't want to do it.
Yeah, man. So I like the model that you describe. I think it's very similar to what me and my brother do. So for example, if someone is losing their house, right, and then they're going to lose it to the bank, and it's going to be it's going to go to foreclosure. Instead of participating in the auction for the foreclosure, we go directly to the person so that they can sell to us the problem, not the property, but the problem, and then we take care of the problem. And then instead of them like losing it and not getting anything, we give them a little bit so that they can go and restart their life, or at least get something. And we stay with the problem, we fix the problem, and then we sell the property.
Yeah, and people don't realize they can do that. I mean, if you just talk to people and you find out how things work, and you find those individuals who are having problems, that's the key thing. I tell people here: you're either finding people that have problems, or you're finding properties who have problems. And sometimes people tell me, "Well, Charles, it's the same thing." I said, "It's not the same thing. If you're finding people with problems because they're ill, they got orders to ship out, they lost their job, they got sick or whatever, they're getting divorced. If you concentrate on finding properties who have problems, you're looking for code violations, you're looking for burnt out houses, you're looking for abandoned houses. And if you concentrate on one or the other, you're going to find the other one. And so that's what I teach here. And so it never fails that every single day we're finding properties, we're finding people who need a solution. And many of you, I mean, we've gotten properties that are beautiful homes that are north of 350,000 for not a penny, nothing. They're just willing to hand it over to us.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, that's happened to us as well. And we do this business in Guatemala. My brother just came here to Miami because now we want to do it here in the U.S. and go bigger, go bigger, go big, or go bigger. Like there's no go home. There's go big or go bigger. That's it.
Yeah, and what people don't realize, man, if you get involved, like I was at this event here in Phoenix. It was a beautiful event called the All In event. And awesome people, man. I'm there sitting talking to someone, and we're exchanging notes. And he's like, "Charles, you should come up to Ohio." And man, I'm in Toledo, I'm in Dayton, Ohio, I'm in Cleveland. I go, "What's popping over there?" He goes, "What's popping is quitclaim deeds. The whole state is not regulating it. I mean, people are selling properties left and right with quick claims. I'm picking up properties, believe it or not." And he showed me the information on his phone, the HUDs, everything. Because I'm picking up properties at $300 that are abandoned, and I'm turning around selling them for cash on a quitclaim deed to someone for $15,000.
Damn.
And it's like the wild, wild west. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, wow. But you don't find that information out unless you're talking
on Google.
Yeah. Well, you probably won't find that on Google. You got to find it out by getting involved with individuals. My end goal, brother, with God willing, my end goal is, for example, to take this company, make it a national brand, and have all the systems and processes in place. Make sure
to sell it,
quality brand, and with God's help, one day sell it to someone who's very deserving and who compensate me for it.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds awesome, man.
Yeah.
I want to sell my networking business as well. I want to have a net 9-figure exit, and
it's awesome.
There's someone out there that's already doing it. Like I've done research. And there's literally a software out there that helps people with their podcast that is worth a couple $100 million. There's no reason why I can't do that as well. So, yeah.
And I think you're on your way. You got a good brand. You caught my attention, with your branding and your persistence.
Persistence. Oh yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, man. Thanks. So, I have 5 questions for you, man. So can I ask you, this is not the first question. Can I ask you the first one?
Yeah.
Awesome. What advice would you give your 20-year-old self if you could?
My advice, man, if I was going to talk to me and I was like talking to a 20-year-old, I'll do it like I do it here because I got 20-year-olds that work here. What I tell them is this, man. If you haven't found someone like me, I'm not saying I'm perfect because I'm not. I have many faults and many mistakes in my life.
Mentor, right? Someone that's that's a guiding light.
Yeah. If you can find someone who can mentor, and you can just learn how to listen. Learn how to listen. Be the 35-year-old in the future and listen like you're that person in the future. So that when you're 35, you don't look back and say, "Man, I wish I knew then
what I know now."
What I know now. And the only way to do that is to open up your ears, talk a little less, pay attention to understand what people's faults are, understand people's gains are, understand people's struggles, understand what got them there. And guess what? That's going to help you a lot, man. That's going to help you collapse time, like you say.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what, it's all about. So collapsing time, collapsing the amount of like time, work, struggle that you go through. And you can do all of that by absorbing the wisdom of other people.
Mhm.
The second question is around mindset, man. So what is a mindset shift that you've had that you can share with us that you think has contributed to your success?
It's different for everybody, man. It's different for everyone. And I've had several different mindset shifts, man. Every time and I've learned to understand that. I've learned to understand, and I say everybody, learn to understand that it's just not one trigger, man. It's several triggers. Just one mindset shift to another, and be okay with it. You may not get them all at the same time, but as you learn, you're going to learn other stuff about yourself or things you want to do. And for me, the first thing was, I had a voice inside of me that says, man, you were meant to do something bigger, man.
Nice.
And I knew that was way more than being on the street, doing what I was doing. I did it at a high level because I was traveling the world. Not the world, but the United States. And I was doing some stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. But I knew I was meant for more. And I listened to that once, I started seeing the trouble was coming my way. And I didn't want that life, man. I wanted to do something else. And so that was my first mindset shift. And it was hard because think about it. You know how long it takes to go to school, man. If you hadn't had no school and you got to start with a GED, you got to go to university, you want to get to university and graduate from university, that's a long road, man.
It is.
That's a long road. But you know what? I made it and I got it. Somehow I got it. But, the second mind shift that I had was how to interact with people. I had to really, really work hard at conducting myself as a gentleman, like you say, and I still struggle with it, man. Sometimes someone will just say something, man, and I try my best to be the most professional individual, but sometimes, and I struggle with it because, it takes me, you want to go right back to where you were at and you want to let somebody know what time it is,
Yeah.
And so that's with dealing with people, myself, and then dealing with people. And the third one is learning how to love, especially those closest to you.
I love that one, man. I love that last one.
So I'm still not perfect at it, man, but I've been with my wife for 19 years, and God, I don't know why the hell she's with me, because I put her through hell, and the first 7 or maybe 8 years. In 2010, I decided to take some counseling, which I never believed in that because I was on machismo, and I told my counselor, I said, hey, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna give it all. And I did. I had an epiphany. It really works. Like I really had an epiphany, and I don't cuss in front of my wife. I don't yell at her. Do we still have our moments? Of course.
Conflicts, but conflicts lead to connection.
Yeah, but you have to learn how to love individuals, man. I'll leave you with one last thing, man. This I learned when I was young. This is part of the first part. You got to learn how to appreciate people. Appreciate people, even those who do you wrong, because you know why? Because even those who do you wrong have done you a service. You know what that service is? They've let you know what they're about. You see, those closest to you, sometimes the ones that are like, hey, I got you, man. Those are the ones you can't see. Maybe they don't see it. Maybe at the moment they don't know that that's how they're going to conduct themselves. But a person who's never on your side is always going to let you know what they're about. And I appreciate that. You know why? Because I know it's steer clear from them.
Yeah, man. Those were great. I've learned that, like loving other people, loving other people is a great one. So like this weekend, man, I'm just quick story. This weekend, I spent my weekend with my cousins, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 are my cousins. And one of my cousins, she's 10. And I absolutely despise her, man. Like I hate her. Like I would see her, and like I literally wanted to like strangle her. Like that's what I would be feeling inside. And I just realized that it's just a reflection of some part of me that I hate. Like it has nothing to do with her. It has more to do with me than with her. It's probably like my inner child, that I hate. Like there's some part of her that I have, or that I used to have when I was little, that I hate. So instead of like, and then this hate, the only person that hurts is me. Like I'm just hurting myself all the time that I'm hating her. I'm just hurting myself. So what I did was just went and hugged her and told her that I loved her. And I instantly liberated myself.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. That's exactly what somebody that's what someone should do, man. You know, and man, I've had some guys that have done some real bad shit to me, man, where like you're like, man, I really like this dude. I can't believe he did that. But you know, man, you gotta let it go, because if you don't let it go, you're not gonna allow yourself to grow, man.
Exactly. Yeah. So the next question is around mindset map. So clarity, man. Do you have any advice for people who may lack or may need some clarity?
You know, let me share with you a real world situation.
Got it.
I believe that we run a good company.
Okay.
We're having success, all good. But I'm always willing, man. I'm always willing to change. And you have to be willing to change, man. You have to be willing to just to put away with what you have that's makes you feel comfortable. You have to be willing to destroy what's not working and lay another roadmap down. And so, for example, like here in our office, you know, we're going to make some very big changes, man, in the next 14 days. One of the changes we're going to do is we're going to go completely virtual with a lot of our systems. We're going to implement another high caliber system that we've never used, and we're going to learn how to use that system. Why? Because, you know, I met some of my peers that are doing things at a higher level. And you know what? I know that we should be, we should be either matching or even doing more or want to do more. And if I want to do more, I have to be willing to change. And so what I say to everyone, man, is, you know, be realistic with yourself, man. If you know something's not working, you know, sit down for a second and be like, okay, this ain't working. I need to change it. And I'll give you, and I'll take a lot of time. I'll give you, let me step back just for a second. Like one of my guys here the other day, he's frustrated, man. He was lost, and he's really good. And I tell my guys, I said, look, man, this is what you got to do. Let me tell you what you got to do. You got to sit back for a second, take a deep breath, stand up, stretch out, sit down for an hour, and lay every single problem you're having down. And then what you want to do is you want to say, okay, these are the things that I have to do right now. Put those in one column. And these are the things that I like to do. You know, they got to get done. And these are the things that, man, you know what? If they get done, they don't get done. And then once you organize yourself, once you organize your thoughts, and once you organize yourself, then this is what you do. You say to yourself, how do I add 10 times more of what I got on my plate right now to what I'm doing? And you know what's gonna, you know what you're gonna discover?
What?
That you weren't busy at all, man.
That you what?
You weren't busy at all. You're gonna discover that you were not busy at all. You thought you were busy. You were just unorganized. Your thoughts were unorganized.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
And once you organize yourself, trust me, man, and you organize your thoughts, you have some clarity about what you're doing, you can do a lot more than what you think you can.
Yeah. So most people feel overwhelmed, and when you're overwhelmed, you get paralyzed, right? Like you freeze. And one of the ways that you can get unoverwhelmed, right, is by just writing down everything that you have in your head, right? And then once you put them on paper, you're like going to be like, okay, right? But most people just let it, like, you know, like
what I need to do, what I want to do, what I like to do. It's that simple. Get rid of everything that doesn't need to happen. Nice. And say, okay, add, you know, if you can only handle 2 times, that's fine. I tell my guys, add 10 more times, 10 more of what you got to your plate. And you're going to figure out real quick, you're going to figure out, man, I wasn't busy at all.
Yeah.
Why? Because once you do that, you're going to figure out real quick, man, you need to get shit done. And the only way to get shit done is to have clarity.
Awesome. So repeat those three. What I need to do, what I want to do. What was the third one?
Yeah. So what you need to do, what you want to do, and what you'd like to do.
Got it.
So those 3 things, man. Once you organize yourself, get rid of whatever really doesn't have to be on that list. You focus on what needs to be done first. And then after you finish that, you go to what you want to do. And after that, what you'd like to do.
Nice.
And on top of that, stack another set of that on top of that, or 10 times more. And then you're going to realize real quick, man, shit. Okay. I was wasting a lot of time.
Awesome. So, man, motion, what is one habit that you have right now that you think has contributed to your success? Habit.
Habit, man. Well, if I had to say that I have a real big habit, man, of getting involved with all my guys, you know,
All right.
and I want to know what's going on with them at every single time. I don't micromanage at all. I don't micromanage them, but I have that about myself, man. I want all of them to succeed, but that's not really a habit. I'll share something with you that I'm doing now. So I was like your size for all my life, and up to 2008. And then, you know, I was always very disciplined because I knew my dad's family were real fat people. And so I was always 185, 179 all my life. And then 2008 came, and from 2008 to like 2011, I gained like 60 pounds. And then from that to 2012 to 2019, I went up to all the way to 349.
Okay.
That's a lot of weight, man.
Yeah.
A lot of weight, dude, from coming from 185. And what I did was over the last 2 years was really focus on just bringing that down, bringing it down, bringing it down, bringing it down. And have I been perfect? No, but I'll share with you a real world habits, guys, or motion. You said I got myself a trainer, and I go there every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week, and I'm committed to building my body back up. I want to lose another 60 pounds, but I didn't just make that commitment to myself. I made it to my guys. I said, guys, if you guys will be here every day at 8:30, I will start training you on some other stuff that you can learn from real estate. Then I took it one step further. I went to the event where everybody at the event, a lot of people knew me. And I said to everybody, hey, by December 2012, I will be 50 pounds lighter. And let me tell you, these are the steps that I'm doing. So when it comes to habits or motion, what I believe is this, man. You if you're having a hard time doing it yourself, and I had a hard time in 10 years. You gotta get other people involved. You got I'm not gonna say shame yourself into doing it, but you have to have accountability, man. You can't do it without accountability. I've been really good with my real estate company with accountability, but not with myself. So those are real world things that are happening to me right now. So I just share with them, you know, they kind of relate to what you're asking.
Nice. Accountability. So getting yourself accountable to other people, sharing your goals, you know, and just making other people know where you are going for, so that you're forced now to keep your word.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah, awesome. The last question, bro, is measure. So what do you think about measuring and tracking?
And as it relates to oneself or business?
Measuring and tracking, like business, life, whatever it is that you want to talk about, you know, when it comes to measuring and tracking, what do you measure? What do you track?
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that because, you know, we're reflecting on a lot of changes that we're fixing to make here at our company. You know, for a long time now, you know, we've run a pretty solid company that a lot of, you know, I mean, people know, I'm not going to say we're Keller Williams because we're not by any means, but I mean, I got people from all over the United States, Canada, and Australia that contact us. So if I measured myself up to that, I was like, man, we're doing pretty good. We're getting some traction. People are getting to know us. So it makes you feel good. You know, you feel good. And then reality hits. And you figure out that, man, it's beautiful. It's awesome to have this beautiful office, all this beautiful equipment, all these awesome people, and you're doing all these beautiful things, but maybe your process is not as good as it was. Why is that guy that's working out of his house with 2 people with VAs doing close to what you're doing? You know, I mean, I'm not saying, in no way you're being envious. What you're saying, what I'm saying to myself is, at some point you got to take stock of what you're doing and say, maybe what I've been measuring in my company is not going the way it should be going, or I guess what I'm trying to say is, man, is is if you want to grow, man, it goes back to change. If you want to grow your company or you want to grow yourself, you got to take steps to do it, man. And you can't get stuck on just the success you're having now. You got to look outwards. You got to talk to other people, because that's exactly what happened to us when we went to this event. I came here, had a meeting with all my guys. And I said, hey, man, in 14 days, we're going to be doing this.
Nice.
Because what we've been doing is good, but we can do better.
But it's time to evolve. Yeah. Awesome, man. So, well, yeah, man, I've had a great time. Where can we find more about you? You know, when it comes to like real estate, like your real estate group, your mastermind, your events, like everything that you got going on. Where can we find more of you, man?
So it's real easy, man. Instead of giving you a bunch of links, mine is called a real Uncle Charles. That's it. .com. realunclecharles.com. So awesome. I had to do that. And I'm by no means no big celebrity at all. I'm not nothing. I'm just a regular guy in San Antonio doing some work. But unfortunately, man, there's bad people on the internet, and they created some duplicate accounts. And they were charging people, you know, for mentorship. You know, I don't know how they do that. They get all your videos, they get all your photos, and they create accounts. So realunclecharles.com. That's a real domain. And if you click there, you'll find all my links. You'll find my IG, my TikTok. You'll find stuff that we do. You'll find our private alliance group. You'll find a lot of free education that we do on YouTube. So realunclecharles.com.
Awesome, bro. We'll add that, you know, all of that wherever this appears. I've had a great time. Thank you very much. And yeah, man, I'll see you later.
Well, thank you. And again, it's a pleasure. I am very humbled you asking me to be on your podcast. And I hope if anybody listens, if you have any questions, you can always reach out. But I hope anything I said here today will help you elevate yourself.
Awesome, bro. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you who do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms